Good morning, welcome to EduCert Network. Friend, today topic for discussion is group discussion. You all are aware that group discussion is an important stage of any selection process. In many cases, we found that a student, despite the good knowledge of the subject, they fail to clear this stage. Why so? I think it is because of the certain skill what he needed to clear this stage, he doesn't have. Because group discussion is an art of speaking, art of formulating the argument of the any topic given to you. So there are certain skills, certain art required for clearing this stage. We will try to understand what are those skills, what are the how one can clear the group discussion with Dr. Subhash Kakkar. He is a management expert. He has a master black belt holder of Six Sigma. He is a director of one of the renowned management institute in Delhi, and he has experience of about 40 years working in both corporate sector as well as in academic sector. He has been holding the important position in an MNC company, and then he joined the academics. So I think his knowledge, practical knowledge of both the world of working in multiple national companies and also in academic sectors will help us to understand this topic and will give him insight for the understanding of the group discussion process and clearing the group discussion stage. So on your behalf, I welcome him for EduCert lecture on this very topic. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Arminder. Viewers, we welcome you to this session where we shall be discussing some aspects of group discussion so that one should not feel helpless in attending these kind of group discussions. This is an important stage in a selection process. I have experience of both corporate sector as well as academics. This group discussion is basically needed or used for admissions to prestigious institutes like Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi University, IIMs and other such management institutes for admission process, and then also for placement to good companies. So we shall be discussing what is that thing which one should have to clear that stage without facing any problem. As far as group discussion is concerned, in the admission, the candidates, aspirants appear and they take it as a challenge. And if they are able to do it, if they are able to crack this group discussion, and they will be admitted. And similarly, in the placement means getting a good job in a good company. Group discussion, it should be handled in such a way that people are selected. And we shall be discussing aspects of this group discussion process, and we shall be discussing the skills required and how to develop those skills so that we are able to clear this stage easily. Before I go into the depth, first we will discuss some common things which are to be possessed by each and every candidate when he goes for some group discussion. Basically, group discussion is a dialogue between a number of people sitting together. A group is formed depending upon the strength, 6 to 8 members are there and they discuss on some topic. When discussion is going on, it is an important issue that communication should be proper. Here, to have a good communication in the group, we should have communication skills. Today, English is the language of corporate world. One should be able to talk in English. One should be able to express himself in English so that it is understood by everyone, and it is rather slightly easy to communicate when we use English as a language of communication. And then how to have a good communication skill, how to have a good English. For that, I will give you few tips, and these tips are: one should watch English news on daily basis on a TV channel, thoroughly see it and see the communication and see how the sentences are formed and how these are conveyed to the viewers. And then we have to concentrate on the pronunciation of the words, and the signs of and precautions are to be taken that we take pauses at proper places so that the meaning of the communication is well understood by others. When we see TV and we see news, we shall be improving our general knowledge skills also. It is not only the subject knowledge that one should have, but one should also have general knowledge, and this general knowledge will be improved if we watch TV news on regular basis. And now we are discussing communication skills. How to improve communication skills? One should read newspaper, English newspaper on daily basis, maybe some financial newspaper also, so that general knowledge as far as finance etc. is concerned, that should also be there, because in that group discussion topics are given on all the issues which are pertaining in the world at present. Then we shall read a good English novel on daily basis, and this will improve our English. In our day-to-day communication also, when we are in a college or when we are in a job, we should try to communicate only in English so that our English is improved. Basically, we have to improve our language so that we are able to convey our message easily and effectively. This covers communication part. Then is the knowledge part. One should have a good knowledge of the subject for which he is appearing for the group discussion in the selection process. If it is a job will be pertaining to some area of operation in which the candidate is expert. And similarly, if some student or a candidate is going in for group discussion for admission in an institute, the course for which he is appearing, he should be conversant with the course and he should be well aware of the contents of that particular subject. And this can be attained only by having good knowledge of the subject. Already I have told you, if you watch TV news on daily basis, if you read newspaper on daily basis, you will improve your general knowledge and you will improve your communication. Next part again is the awareness. One should be aware of the facts which are available as far as the company for which one is being interviewed or one is appearing for group discussion. That awareness should be there so that you know the details of the industry in which you have applied for a job. Because the topics of discussion can be given on the industry in which the company is working. So one should have a good knowledge of the company and good knowledge of the industry in which this particular company where you have applied is in operation. And then next skill is the behavior part. In the behavior, what sort of behavior be shown? Whether it should be aggressive, whether it should be submissive. So one is to take care of his behavior while discussing. In the behavior, people don't expect people to be very aggressive. People like to be calm so that their listening skills are seen. One should be peacefully listening to others what they are talking about making note of the contents, what they have said, and then convey your own notes, convey your own viewpoint, and then you can have a discussion on the points of view given by other members of the group discussion team. So, here the behavior plays a vital role. The moment you show some aggressiveness or you start speaking loudly, you get a negative point at that stage. You have to take care of such situations where you are forced to talk loudly, and here you are not supposed to talk loudly. You have to convey your message patiently and mildly, and then that point of view should be put across in such a way that everyone starts listening to your viewpoint peacefully and carefully, and in between you can summarize what others have also discussed. Now, we shall also be discussing some skills where you do not have any knowledge of the subject for which the group discussion is being held, and how to fare well in that particular situation. Then the group dynamics. People are judging you as a team member. If you prove yourself as a good team member, then chances of your selection are bright. Here, you are not to fight, you are not to contradict forcefully, but you are to convey your viewpoint in such a way that everyone present in the group discussion is convinced with your idea, and people start thinking that you are the leader of that group discussion team. Again, we will discuss something like patience also. If somebody has aggressively pinpointed that whatever you have told in the discussion is totally wrong, then have patience, listen carefully, patiently, and then without raising your voice, peacefully, clearly tell that my viewpoint is correct and your viewpoint has some drawbacks, and that is to be conveyed in such a way that nobody gets hurt. We also convey our messages which are having full of contents, and people will like to listen to us if we tell them something new which others have not discussed so far. So, our ideas should be original, our ideas should be new, and then people will accept them, people will patiently listen to us. If somebody is wrong, somebody has made a mistake in the discussion, somebody has told you something wrong which is not acceptable. So, it is the art of telling others that this is wrong. Do not tell them bluntly that they are wrong, and you have to convey your message in such a way that your message goes across without hurting anyone. And this is the art one learns to clear the group discussion. And I would say group discussion can be practiced. If you practice a lot, then you will become master of attending the group discussions and faring well in the group discussions. Practice again and again, then will give you full confidence and full strength to face any kind of group discussion. Since I have told you already, aggressiveness at all stages should be avoided, should never be used. And then one more thing, one important thing which one is to show that is the leadership qualities. Others, if they miss in this skill, you have to show that you are leader of the group discussion team. How can you show that you are leader of the group discussion team? And there are some ways whereby you can show that you are not as others are. You are a step ahead of others. Here you can open the discussion with your own original ideas, and people will respect you as a leader of the team. When 3 or 4 members of the team have given their viewpoints, have given the discussion, then summarize what they have discussed, what their strengths are there, what are the weaknesses are there in the contents of their group discussion. Then add your own viewpoint so that everyone gets convinced. When you are analyzing the viewpoints of others, what they have discussed, use logical thinking and then convey in a positive way, and your judgment should be such that again nobody should get hurt and nobody should be forced to behave in an aggressive way. If such is the case, people will accept you as a leader. So, this is the art one has to learn, and this can be learned by practice and practice, and this art people develop. Once you have made a mistake, then note it down that in this particular discussion, this was a mistake committed by me, and then don't repeat that mistake in future. And then step by step, you clear the group discussion process and become the leader of the discussion. One important issue that is to be seen in group discussion is that you have to show that not only leader, but you are a good member of the team. Here, if you want to show that you are a good member of the team, then you will have to give due importance to the contents of discussion which others have given. You have to give respect to the views of other speakers also. It will show that you are not there to promote your viewpoint only, but you are listening to others' suggestions also. But why all these points are important? We have discussed communication skills, we have discussed teamwork, we have discussed leadership, we have discussed subject knowledge, but why are these important? Since I have told you, group discussions are held for aspirants of institutes for getting admission to good institutes. I have also told this is a very common process in management institutes. Besides tests, exams, etc., group discussion is also a criteria for selection. Here all these qualities and skills are seen because these are the students who will be future leaders of the companies. When you are a leader in a company, you are to possess all these skills. I have also told you patience is to be shown. So, unless you have patience, your aggressiveness will not take you far away. So, all these skills are required for future life operations and life assignments. Similarly, in placement also, for job also, all these skills are required. Jobs are not given to you as standalone jobs. Jobs are given to you to work in a team as a good member of the team, as a resource person in the team. So, you have to show that you are a good member of the team, and you are not to show aggressiveness, you are not to show you have to show patience in group discussions, because meetings are held. Meetings are also some sort of group discussion. When you are in a job, companies hold meetings and you are the member of that meeting. In the meeting, again something is being discussed, some policy is being discussed, again you have to show that you have good grasp of all the contents of that policy and you convey your own viewpoint and you try to convince others. When others are telling good points, you have to listen those points carefully and patiently, and that is the skill you have to acquire, because this will be used in future operations in life. So, now I have told you the skills required for group discussion and importance of these skills in working life. That's why group discussions are held, and these are not held just like that. So, now we will discuss what are the contents of my discussion which I am going to have further with you. And the topics will be covered. Definition of group discussion, we will define what group discussion is, and then finally we will start working on this stage of selection. What is group discussion? We will discuss. And what are the prerequisites of group discussion? What is to be done before attending the group discussion? Again, we will devote some time on this aspect of the process of group discussion. And benefits in group discussion, what sort of benefits, what is the advantage of conducting a group discussion, and what are the salient features of this process. Again, this is a topic which we shall be discussing. And then some do's and don'ts we shall be discussing. What are the things one must do and what are the things one must avoid? We have to discuss those points also. And then we will discuss important points which are to be taken care of in discussion. And then how to accept criticism also. Again, we will devote some time on this particular topic. If suggestion is to be given, how to give a suggestion? This aspect will also given a due treatment. And topics of importance. What are these topics? What are the topics which normally people give in the group discussion process? We will list some of the topics and we will discuss those. Now, we will cover the definition of group discussion. Group discussion is a modern method of assessing candidates' personality. Now, here I am using the word personality. So, in the discussion process, we test the candidate for his personality. It is both a technique and an art and a comprehensive tool to judge the worthiness of the candidate and his appropriateness for the job or for the admission in an institute. Here we check whether the candidate is suitable for admission or for the job for which he is being interviewed or for which he is being put to group discussion process. The term suggests a discussion among a group of persons. Group discussion gives an idea that discussion will be held with people, and the number may be around 6 to 8, or sometimes it is 8 to 12 also. And these members who will express their views freely, without fear and frankly, in a friendly manner on a topic of current issue. And these topics we will definitely discuss at a later stage, and within a time limit of say 20 to 30 minutes. People are to give their viewpoint and they are to listen others' viewpoint also. Then we will discuss prerequisites of group discussion, topics given by panelists. There are persons who are conducting this group discussion process. Planning and preparedness. What sort of planning be done for group discussion? Knowledge with self-confidence. Self-confidence is very important skill. Communication skills and power of speech. And then most important thing is your own body language and personal appearance. Personal appearance. You have to show that with your body language that you are having a positive frame of mind, and this is to be shown at all the time in the discussion. And then being calm and cool. These are prerequisites of any group discussion process or group discussion stage. Extensive knowledge base related to state, country or globe should be there, because the topics can be asked from any subject and anything. So, one should be aware of all the global issues which are being discussed in the present. Areas can be politics, sports, science and trade, commerce, industry and technology, and maybe MNCs, what they are doing in the country, and topic can be given. Topics like strangers will be prosecuted, trespassers will be prosecuted. This is a topic of discussion. This has nothing to do with the current information, current knowledge, just a simple topic. Trespassers will be prosecuted, and people are supposed to give their viewpoint on this particular issue. So, there is no boundary for topics. Anything can be asked to be discussed in the group discussion process. Then the prerequisite is listening skills. One should possess good listening skills. It should not be like that you keep on speaking, you are not giving time to others to talk. So, you have to show your patience, you have to show listening skills, so that you listen to others also carefully and patiently. In the cooperation, this behavior trait you have to show in the entire group discussion process, that you are cooperating with others in getting their viewpoints and giving a due importance and weightage to others' viewpoints. What are the benefits in the group discussion? Stimulation of thinking in a new way. This is a new process. So, we stimulate the situation so that people start thinking in new way. And expansion of knowledge. This is a benefit one gets. Understanding of your strength and weakness in the group discussion. Your true personality is visible in the group discussion process. Your true personality is revealed also, and qualities of leadership crystallized in the group discussion only. These are the benefits we get from the group discussion process. And this provides chance to expose. This also tells us what sort of language you speak. And the academic knowledge is also discussed in this group discussion. People handling skills. How to handle the people? There are 8, 10 others are sitting in the group discussion process. How you are handling those people, that is a skill is seen in the members of the team. And teamwork. And next is the general knowledge one possesses is visible in the group discussion. And these we are discussing the benefits of group discussion process. What are the salient features of GD? Sometimes we call it GD also, just simply GD. Group discussion, just simply GD. Topic may be given to judge your public speaking talent. A topic is given to discuss, and maybe that is given only to see your communication skill, your speaking skill, and discussion revolves around a specific subject only. The examiner does not interfere once he announces the topic, then he sits and just looks at the process of group discussion and then evaluates different members of the team who is discussing, and maintain cordiality and free expression of thought and opinion. He tries to maintain that is freedom is there, one can speak and everyone is given an equal chance, because the person who is administering the group discussion process is looking at the process, and then if he finds somebody is not being given a chance to speak, then he holds the discussion for a second and allows the person who has not spoken anything so far to give his viewpoint, because he is to find out who is to be selected maybe for admission and maybe for the job, and based on only group discussion. Here are some tips we will discuss for successful group discussion. The first and the foremost tip for an individual to perform well in the group discussion is to learn the art of participation. And this is very important. One should be participating in the discussion. One should be like a good member of the team. And this skill and trait one has to show so that he gets a bright chance of selection. Don't expect others to force you to speak. If that is the case, it means if you are not speaking at all, then others will force you to speak. Take the initiative, participate in the discussion, and share your ideas with others. I am here telling you to initiate the discussion. That is a good chance of getting noticed by others. Never shout in a group discussion, and always wait for your turn to come to speak. Aggressiveness is not a trait to be demonstrated in the group discussion process. Here, patience is a skill one is trying to observe in the behavior of the members. Remember, it is discussion, not a fighting ground. And be polite but firm. That is the art of winning any group discussion. And try to take the initiative. Again, this is very important. Don't wait for others to start the discussion. Always volunteer yourself and start the discussion. Here you get initial plus point, where the discussion has not yet started and you are offering to open the discussion. Introduce yourself and your team members and then start with the topic. But one thing to remember here is that one must initiate the group discussion only when he or she is well versed with the topic and well confident to speak at the beginning. If you don't know anything about the topic, then don't open your mouth in the beginning, and don't take the risk if you yourself are not clear about the topic and your thoughts are vague. At that stage, don't open up. Okay, leave it to others so that they start speaking and then get some points for discussion. Then give your own viewpoint. If you are confident that you will be able to put your points of view across, then open it and take the initiative. Here we are discussing some of the tips to get success in group discussion process. A leader is one who actually gives the group discussion a direction and guides other team members when they seem to be lost or confused. Here again, if the members are not able to convey their viewpoints, and if you feel that they are lost, you take the initiative and lead the team and guide them to speak, and then give your own viewpoint also. And there should not be any confusion in the minds of others. And you have to clear that confusion and continue the discussion. Like a true leader, an individual must try his level best to refrain from personal favors and fights, etc. Don't only ask your acquaintance to speak. Give equal opportunity to all the members of the group discussion team to speak. And here you are showing your leadership qualities. As the leader of the group, one must ensure that the discussion does not end up in fighting and reaches a conclusion. There should be some conclusion and there should not be any fight among the members of the group discussion team. Here I am giving you the tips. Now one must speak only if he is well prepared with the topic. If topic is well known to you, then speak. And we shall be discussing. When you don't know the topic and you are to fare well in the discussion. Don't just speak for the sake of points or marks. Speak only when you are absolutely sure about what you are speaking. Never depend on guessworks. If one thing is sure, only then you should speak. Otherwise, don't speak. Avoid using stangs or crack jokes in between the discussion, because these are not liked in the group discussion process, as it is considered highly unprofessional. So, cracking of jokes be avoided at all stages. Never be rigid in a group. If some people have given a different point of view and with a convincing way, then get convinced. Don't be rigid. Always keep in mind that the other person is also learned as you are. Other person is also as qualified as you are. Don't underestimate others. Be a good and a patient listener. Don't just simply draw conclusions, as there is always a room for improvement and room for discussion. Debate logically. Without logic, debate is not possible and debate cannot be fruitful. And sensibly, and try to take everyone along. Here a situation comes, other people are not patiently listening to you. They are very aggressive and you are to convey your viewpoint across. I will discuss something which is called transactional analysis. Every person behaves in three different ways. There are three different stages of putting across your viewpoint. Sometimes we behave like a child, sometimes we behave like a parent, and sometimes we behave like an adult. And this discussion can only be fruitful when both are at the adult stage or at the similar stage. If you are behaving like a child, the other should also behave like a child. And you know what we discuss when we behave like child? Only TV channels, Tom and Jerry. But when we are discussing like parents, we discuss things like Astha channel. And our discussion can only be fruitful when we behave like adult to adult. If I am behaving like an adult, other is behaving like a child, so I am to bring his level to the level of an adult and then start discussing. In the group discussion, if somebody is behaving not in a proper way, we have to bring him to the level of an adult and then convey our message. Sometimes people behave like child, and there are two types of child. One is aggressive child, other is submissive child. Sometimes people behave like parents. Parents, corrective parent and nurturing parent. So, if we want the discussion to have fruitful results, we have to bring the level of discussion to only at adult to adult. Only then our discussion will have fruitful results. Now, read a lot and always keep your eyes and ears open. Always begin your day with the newspaper and know what is happening around you. This I have clearly mentioned in my early discussion, that you read newspaper on daily basis so that you know what is happening in the world. An individual must be aware of the current events to succeed well in group discussion process, because the topics can be given from the current affairs. So, one should have a good and sufficient knowledge of current affairs. And then be alert always. A participant usually gets around 15 minutes to think about the topic. When the topic for discussion is given, normally the people who are administering the group discussion, they give 10 to 15 minutes to form your viewpoints on the topic of discussion. And you need to think fast and cover as much as you can. Always take care of your words. The words and their selection should be proper, because the words will give different meaning in the group discussion. And then select the proper words. The content has to be sensible, crisp and well supported with examples of real life situations. If you are conveying some message, and it should be related to your real life situation also, because it will have a proper and good impression on the other members of the team. Don't adopt a laid back attitude or yawn in between. This is not considered good in the group discussion process. I have already told you are to show that you are alert to others' viewpoint and you are also conveying your viewpoint quickly. So, alertness is to be shown. It should be observed as a good skill. Take care of your dressing also. How you dress up again is an important point to be followed in a group discussion. Don't wear flashy clothes while going for a group discussion or interview. You have to dress up nicely and have corporate dress only. Female candidates are here warned to avoid cakey makeup or flaunt heavy jewelry. The clattering sounds of bangles, etc., sometimes act as a disturbing element in the group discussion, and these kind of dresses and these kind of accessories should always be avoided. An individual must keep in his mind that group discussion is meant for bringing out the managerial skills of the person out and nothing else. The organizer of the group discussion will never appreciate you or give you the credit if you shout or fight in the group discussions. Be calm, composed, confident and neutral to create an impression in the discussion. Win over others. Now we will discuss some do's in group discussion. What should always be done in the group discussion? Appropriate to the issue only, appropriate to the topic of discussion. Make only original points and support them substantially with the proper reasoning. Listen to other participants actively and carefully and patiently. This is a very good skill, and the people who are administering the group discussion process, they prefer this skill to be present in the person who will be selected, maybe for admission and maybe for placement. Whatever you say must be with a logical flow and validate it with an example as far as possible. I have already told you, you should have a good life example to support your point of view. Make only accurate and correct statements. And these we are discussing what are the do's which are to be followed in a group discussion process. Modulate the volume, pitch and tone. Here modulation is required. Don't shout, don't speak loudly, modulate your language. Be considerate to the feelings of others also. You are not supposed to hurt them. Try to get your turn. Wait for your turn and speak. Be an active and alert and dynamic participant in the group discussion. Talk with confidence and self-assurance. If such is the case, you will feel that it is very easy to convince others, because if you are speaking with confidence and alertness, people will agree to your viewpoint easily. You are to show that you are confident all the times. Here we shall be discussing don'ts also, the things which should be avoided in group discussion. Being shy, nervous, keeping isolated from GD should always be avoided. You are not to show that you are nervous and you are not one among the other members of the team. You have to show that you are a resourceful person in the team. You are going to contribute a lot in the group discussion topic. So don't feel shy, don't show that you are nervous. Since we have already discussed, you have to show that you are confident. Then interrupting another person when he is speaking, again it should be avoided. And if you start arguing when the other person has not completed his discussion, then again it is a bad sign. And people will not give you any credit for that. And this kind of situation should always be avoided. Speak in favor. Example, establish your position and stand by it stubbornly. So this should be avoided. You should not be rigid on your point of view, because if others have given their viewpoint and those points are more convincing, then get convinced. Instead of being rigid, you should be flexible so that you are able to convey your viewpoint, as well as others are also allowed to give their viewpoint. If they are more convincing, then get convinced. So that is an art which is to be developed so that you are a successful person in any group discussion. Change opinions. In the discussion, if the situation is that you are asked to change your opinion because the others have given more logical replies and more logical contents in their discussion, that get convinced and change your opinion. That is a positive side. And then, like a leader, you convey that earlier I was thinking about this topic in this manner. Now people have convinced me that the way I was thinking was not correct, the way they are thinking is correct, so I am convinced. And this is a positive thing, and like a leader you accept. Don't make fun of any participant. Here you have to avoid this situation that you are making fun of others. You are going to show respect to others, respect to their viewpoints. If they are not able to give you good logical viewpoint, and then don't make a fun of them. Tell them politely, patiently that your viewpoint does not have any content with respect to the topic of discussion. So don't make fun of any participant even if his arguments are funny. So in that situation also you are to avoid making fun of others. Again we are discussing the same thing, don'ts during the group discussion. Don't engage yourself in subgroup conversation. Here subgroup means, say for example 8 people are discussing, and if you start discussion with one of them as 1:1 basis, or 2 or 3 persons start discussing separately and they are not involving other members to participate, and this kind of situation should always be avoided. Here 1:1 discussion is not going on. All the members of the team are discussing something and people are thinking to get an output result from this discussion. Then don't repeat and use irrelevant materials. Here sometimes contents are less and people start repeating the same thing again and again. this situation should be avoided and it should never be done. Addressing yourself to the examiner. You are not to talk to the person who is administering the group discussion. You are supposed to talk to the members of the group discussion team only. So, do not address anything to the examiner who is examining or who is evaluating. So, directly talk to the members of the team only. Even if you have a query, even if you have a question, then at that stage avoid talking to the examiner or avoid talking to the person who is administering the group discussion. Worrying about making some grammatical mistake. Here you are not judging yourself, okay? Do not think about the mistakes which are being committed if you are talking and having grammatical mistakes in your language. Forget those mistakes now, and you are to concentrate only on your viewpoint only. Whether you have made a mistake or not, that is irrelevant at this stage, okay? Because lot of time has already been given to you for preparation. Preparing means improving your communication skill. Here you do not get disturbed if you have made a communication mistake. So, one should be very careful. Then important points in the group discussion which are to be taken care of. Then here be assertive. An assertive person is direct, honest, careful about not hurting others. You have to show that you are confident and you are assertive. You do not agree to others easily unless they convince you or they are giving convincing arguments. I have already told you, you should be flexible, not at the cost of assertiveness, means losing your assertiveness nature. A patient listener, listening to another person is one way of showing appreciation. If you are patiently listening to others, it means you are showing respect to others. That is always to be done and followed. Respect for others, and then people will respect you. When your turn comes, people will listen you patiently and carefully, and you will be able to put your point of view across. Rigid language, words can make friends and the words can also make foes. So, selection of words should be proper, no loose words be used so that you are hurting anybody. You have to avoid this kind of situation. Be analytical. When the discussion is going on, you are to show that you have a very good analytical power, and this can only be shown that if you analyze the point of view of others properly, and if you are able to analyze your own viewpoint properly and without bias, if you give your judgment, people will appreciate and people will start considering you as a leader. Then here, if criticism is there, then accept it like a sportsman. If any member of the group criticizes or disapproves a point of view which you have given, it is unwise to get upset or show your reaction sharply. If a good criticism is given, then accept it as a good person. In case the criticism is flimsy, without any base, the same can be pointed out politely to others. I have already told you, if somebody has made a mistake, you should tell him that you have made a mistake, and the way you tell him, it should not hurt others. Again, if you have yourself made a mistake, then admit it in front of others. It will show that again you are standing on a higher platform than others. Maximize participation. One must try to contribute fully, vigorously and steadily through the discussion. One is to participate in the discussion vigorously without losing the respect of one's individual personality. Show leadership ability. In the discussion, you have to show leadership quality. Your leadership qualities will give you a plus point in the group discussion. Accept someone's point of view. And then you can also praise others. If somebody has given a very good point, then praise him so that again you show your leadership qualities. Status of literacy of women is increased from 30% to 70% when compared to past years. So here calculation should also be correct in all respects. You should not be making any mistake in giving figures, etc. Accept the contradictions and the contradictory viewpoints. If somebody has given a contradictory viewpoint in a convincing manner and others are convinced, you should also get convinced. Okay? Don't be rigid at that stage. And you can also express your acceptance of the viewpoint of others, like to 50%, to some extent I agree with others' viewpoint. You can mention these kind of words also. And these are to be expressed without hurting others. Say if I am to express that only 50% I agree with the viewpoint of others, but balance 50% I don't agree. And the way you put across your judgment should not hurt others. Then suggestions. Suggestions can also be given during the discussion or after the discussion. And then here one is to take care of that, never try to bluff, because people are smart, maybe they know better than you, and if you are bluffing, it will be clearly visible. And you have to practice group discussion. You can practice it with your colleagues, your friends, and you can have different topics. Remember, speech is a powerful weapon. It can make friends and it can make foes also. So, use a proper language. Now, we will discuss some of the topics which are frequently asked in the group discussion. Is India shining? It is a good candidate for a topic for discussion. Mobile phones, internet, a boon for nuisance. Students focusing on software industry, good or bad. This can be a topic for discussion. Child marriage. India as I see in 2020. Daughters are more caring than sons. Again a topic for discussion. Influence of Western culture in Indian universities. Influence of computers in medical field. So this is our discussion regarding group discussion. I have given a complete and detailed thought on the process of group discussion, how it should be handled, and what are the things which one should follow, which one should always do, and what are the things one should avoid always. Our aim is to fare well in the discussion process so that we are selected. If we are going for admission in a institute, we should get a selection. If we are going in for placement, we get a job. So, any question you can raise right now.
Okay. So these are the points very well you mentioned all this. So how I can sum up these points like this: one should be positive, and one should present the personality which is very balanced, logical personality, analytical personality.
Yeah.
And then as you said that while putting your point, you should not hurt others. And these are the few points one must remember while participating in any group discussion.
Yeah.
And but the most of the time we find that the person who are not having knowledge of the topic, still they want to participate and say something. So in that case, what is your suggestion?
Yeah. So I would suggest if somebody is not, some topic is given for group discussion and you are not aware of that topic at all, you don't have any contents and you have not made any point of view so that you can put across in the discussion. But how to fare well in such a situation? Okay, here
Okay.
I would suggest that you should not open up, you should not take initiative to open up the discussion. Let others speak. When others are speaking, they will be giving their viewpoints and then make your own viewpoint and put across.
Okay, take points from others and put your point in articulately so that
Yeah.
you can have some kind of
When you are listening to others,
Yeah.
you will also get your own viewpoint also.
Okay.
And you can put across the same viewpoint in a different way.
Okay, so well
That is
friends, with this word we like to conclude the lecture today, and I thank all of you for watching, and on your behalf I thank Dr. Subhas Kakkar for giving such a wonderful lecture. Thank you all of you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.